What's happening, people? Welcome back to the channel. KG is back. I thought I'd have a night off today, a day off today, but no such thing when it's Leeds United right now. Well, we've had confirmation of a manager. Whether it's the news you wanted to hear, it's the news that we've got, kind of news, and I'll get to it in just a moment. Obviously, before I start, please hit a like on the video, subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and leave your comments in the live chat now if you're here live, and obviously if you're watching the show afterwards. Um, yeah, I mean, listen, Sam, massive gamble, but if it pays off, we can get our first target, I'm guessing, next season. If not, terrible judgment by the board again. Ram here saying difficult but doable. Adrian saying this is not looking good. I like Scoops, but we need a Nuno with an alpha male mentality and tactical proven awareness. This amateur behavior of the board is going to get us back to the championship. Well, listen, just before I go on, I guess Leeds United have confirmed this evening that Skubala is going to stay on as the manager for the upcoming fixtures, and there's no set time on that. It's very open ended. It's like an open ended trade ticket, isn't it? It's like, yeah, I'm going to be returning, but I don't know when, and that's currently what we have. It's currently what we have right now. So he's going to be in charge of the Everton game. He's going to be in charge of the Everton game at least, and it just feels like, just from the statement and just going by how we've been since we've got promoted under Bielsa, it seems like it's going to be on a results basis. So if we beat Everton, then maybe he'll stay on for the Southampton job. Depending on the defeat at Everton, if we do lose the game, then they'll probably look at it again. So it looks like it's going back to the kumbaya circle and hope for the best kind of thing. So that's what it sounds like to me. Back of the net is saying get behind Scoops. I think everyone's behind him. Back of the net, I think everybody is going to be behind him, whoever's in charge. And I think he's got, like I said on yesterday's video, in terms of Schroeder, in comparison to him, he's definitely got more of the fan approval. But the problem is that we need wins, and it starts with 2 huge games, and that's why this appointment is so. To say it's a gamble is putting it very, very lightly. It's mortgaging the future right now. You know what I mean? It's mortgaging the future, because these 2 games are ones where I'm looking at 6 points. I'll be honest. I know some people think 4, and maybe that would be good, but 6 points for me, we're overdue. We're overdue 2 wins in a row. But we're having to go with this, and the players have to go with it. And we're going to speak about the players as well, and their role going forward. Morley White saying total incompetence from all. Yeah, I mean, listen, when Jesse was released, when he was sacked, it was all based on the fact that, are we going to get somebody in the next couple of days, or even if it takes a week, as long as you're getting the right person in, cool. Whatever or however long it takes, in terms of appointing a manager in the Premier League, by the way. Let me just make that clear. And the fact that we've obviously scrambled around the last few days, I don't know how concrete the links are to Nuno and all these other guys, because I haven't seen anybody credible say it. So I'll just say that off the bat. But whatever's happened, Skubala is now the guy in charge. So now he is the one steering the ship. He's the one now the players are going to have to listen to. And like I said in yesterday's video, this is now his chance now to put a stamp on this team. We saw in the first game, it was very Jesse Marsch-like, with just a little bit more control, less of the 3-person pressing on to 1-person kind of press. We saw on Sunday, he was using the pitch a lot more under Skubala. He now can implement more ideas onto these players, because he's got the time to do it. He's got all week to do it now, or he's had all week by the time the appointment comes. But listen, Zach, you prefer a futsal under 21s managers to the one who kept Leeds up last year. I'm sorry, but I disagree. Well, Zach, what I will say is that Jesse did have to go, and it's simply because, and this is the thing for me. This is the thing that really has me confused as well. By the way, let me just try and word this as well as I can. The way we've played in totality this season hasn't been that bad. We just find ways to throw away points, to throw away wins, to keep conceding last-minute goals. We find ways to lose games. And that's been the most destroying thing about this season, because it's not like last season when we was getting our bottoms blown out every single week, and having a minus 1,000 goal difference. No, we haven't actually been that bad. But that's been the most disappointing thing. And to Zach's point here, that's why it wasn't going to work with Jesse, because whatever his message was, it wasn't being transmitted well, or the players weren't getting it. So you have to make a change. You do. But on the basis that you get a replacement lined up, you get somebody in ready for Jesse Marsch when he goes, and then you bring in the replacement maybe 3 days, a week later at best, if he's in another job and you're having to negotiate compensation. You know what I mean? So I know what you're saying here, and to the first point as well, I just want to make this clear, because we know as Leeds fans, if Southampton had appointed a new under-21s coach who was previously a PE teacher and futsal coach, he'd be getting hammered now. We'd be calling it very, very tin pot. We'd be saying that there's no way that they can stay up. It's, you know what I mean? So we would be hammering this kind of appointment. But this is what we've got now. This is literally what we got. Jack is saying Scoobs was always our number one choice. All the other names were just a white smoke screen. Well, yeah, listen, like I said in the title, the white smoke, it's here, but it's not very clear. You know what I mean? Disappeared very quick. And Don J here, and we're gonna talk about this. Time for the players to step up. Simple as that. And Bjorn saying this is our reality. Let's stick together. David also saying the onus is now on the players to help Scoobs out. and this is a big thing for me, because it ultimately, when you go out on the pitch, no matter what the manager is asking you to do, it's the players. And we've seen this over the last couple of years. These players, they always seem to be last in line when it comes to criticism. They do get away with quite a lot, but now this is on them. There's no more Jesse narrow tactics, if you like, to hold on to and say that this is the reason why we're stifled. They're under a new coach now. They're under a new direction. This is on them. It's on my guys. It's on my guys like Adams, McKennie, Pascal, Verba, Nanto, Somerville. It's on them to carry on showing the quality they've got. And it's also on the old guard as well to come and step up with their supposed leadership skills. The Ailings, Bamford, you've got a point to prove. It's up to all of these guys collectively now to step up and get results. I keep seeing as well, and shout out to everyone that drops a message. It's starting to get to a point where I can't answer them all, but I will try. But people keep on saying, "Oh, Jesse Marsch is going to Southampton." Jesse Marsch is going to be back at Ellen Road next week with Southampton. He's going to be beating us. Well, the one thing I'd say to that is, if Jesse Marsch was still here, there'll probably be people saying that we can't beat Southampton. So how comes it's now he goes to Southampton and people think he's going to come to Ellen Road and win? No, our players need to use that as motivation. Not that I've seen, because I don't follow every single player. Maybe people in the chat could help me out. But I haven't seen one person say goodbye to Jesse on social media. Not one. I haven't seen any of the players that I follow. I haven't seen them send a post saying, "Thanks for your efforts, Jesse. All the best in the future." Sometimes players do that, and especially our lot with their, PR ways that they have. Haven't seen one. So it's up to them next week to show Jesse Marsch who's boss, not to let a lowly Southampton team, who we are better than on paper, by the way. Our players are much better than Southampton in totality, to beat them at home. Much like this weekend against Everton. We're hearing about Sean Dyche and this and that. Everton are very ordinary. I'm not even talking about yesterday's game against Liverpool. I'm not talking about that. I'm saying in terms of us as clubs, it's very even. It's very even. And we should be looking at it as like, okay, well, we've got Bamford. Him and Dyche have got history. Bamford, stick it on Dyche. It's always the way that we always expect the bad storyline to come on us. How about we inflict it on them? And that's what the players have got to do. The players have got to step up now. They've got to stand up and be counted. Zach saying, Click definitely hate Jesse. Wonder if it wasn't as rosy in the locker room as it seemed. Well, as I said before about that, Zach, in terms of Click, he wasn't getting played. So you're generally not going to warm to a manager that you're not playing under. And also, maybe he was promised more game time, as we always said, because again, one of Jesse's many failings this season was keep on putting on Mateus Click when he was doing nothing. Wolves game aside, he was doing nothing, but maybe it was a promise. And then after a while, maybe it's because Jesse might have said to him, "Look, Click, I've tried you. Nothing's really happening. I'm going to have to go in another direction. And maybe that's it. We don't know, do we? I'm just assuming, just taking a guess as a fan here. But of course, you're not going to be liked by a coach if you're not playing. I think that's pretty obvious as well. Karen here saying lads are playing well. It's just the finishing. Yeah, they need to sort that out though, Karen. And we also need to stop conceding, because it's like, a real good comment last night in my comments on the video yesterday. Somebody saying that defensively and everything else, people saying we've improved. And it's true. It looks like we're more solid defensively. But if you look at the two games, yesterday against Man United, but let's talk about them. We had a 2-0 lead and we still let it slip. And then the last 10 minutes, we completely capitulate on Sunday and just let that one go with another 2 goals. So we do need to tighten up in that area still, but we do need to take our chances as well, because we have more than enough. But that's the thing. This isn't like a doom and gloom kind of thing here, but it's such a pivotal time that we needed a coach. And even I was coming around to the idea of a Nuno, because yes, the football isn't the best, but I've been long asking for a manager to come in and give us a 1-0, 2-0 ordinary win. Nuno would give us that. He would actually give us that if he was to come. And it's just very, relegation isn't something that I'm really thinking of right now, because there's just too many games to go and there's still too many twists and turns. We're going to lose games, of course, but so are the teams around us. If they were that good, then we'd be cut adrift of these guys. But we're not. We're all in that mini league for a reason, and it's due to inconsistency. And yeah, listen, some good news. I would say it's good news anyway. I saw Mark Rucker on his IG. He's training, so you'd hope that he's going to be back and fit for the Everton game. But I guess we might find out in the press conference on Thursday. Who knows? Under Skubala, he's very cards close to his chest, which I do like. But we just need now for these players to step up. Now, they've had Bielsa, who some of them owe a career to. They've had Jesse Marsh, who motivated them, in the last part of last season when they were on their knees and just begging for a new coach. You could tell with their body language. They've had that. Now they've got somebody else. There just always seems to be somebody, and that's why the players aren't getting off scot-free with this one. And everyone else should take that into account as well. They need to step up. Matt Goodall saying we're such a doom merchant set of fans. I wouldn't say, well, listen, maybe on the whole, but Matt, I'm just looking at it from a reality point of view right now, in that we've had the transfer window, which was a success, by the way. It's not like we had a poor transfer window. It was very good. So, any manager coming in would be happy with the signings that we made. But it's looking at it now. Transfer window's closed. We've gone for our first preferred 3, let's just say. We haven't managed to get them. We've obviously maybe tried to get other ones that were like 6th, 7th, 8th in line. Haven't managed to get them. And now we're sticking with Skubala, who is an ex-PE teacher. So it's just looking at what's actually happening right now ahead of 2 huge league games. That's all it is. Yeah, not me. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. We just have to call it how we see it right now. You know what I mean? And it is disappointing with this season, the way it's gone, though. I will say that, because I look at the team. It should not be as bad as it is. I don't think we should be in the top 10 by any stretch of the imagination. But where we are now, 17th, like so close to the relegation zone with 4 wins. Nah, man, it shouldn't be like this year. It shouldn't have been. It should have been a middling, mediocre, mid-table season, and we can't even get that. We can't even get that. AG, yeah, smash the likes, people, free of charge, and it helps the channel out, please. Bubs is saying we need to press Cody and Tarkowski into mistakes like we did Maguire and get some joy that way. That's what I'm saying. I'm not scared of Everton, but pardon me, you just wonder if Skubala doesn't get this right. And the work, like I've said on videos after the games, he didn't get everything right, and he's not expected to, is he? But with the Bamford decision, taking him off as early as he did, and yes, Bamford wasn't setting the world alight, but maybe if he could have that one back, he would. Bamford clearly wasn't happy with it, and you've got to be careful with some of these guys. These are the same guys that got rid of a man that got them Premier League football. You have to be careful with some of these players. You know, as much as everyone likes to think of Leeds United players all pure and do everything for the badge, man, players they look out for themselves. You know what I mean? They look out for themselves. So you've got to keep them on side. And obviously that kind of decision, hopefully they had a talk after and he explained why. But he just has to have he's got to now show conviction with his choices. And that's for me the other thing. Is he going to do that? I know in the first press conference he said he's not scared of making strong choices, but you know, you've got to say that in public. The proof will be in the pudding, won't it, come game time? Yeah, Jack saying win these next two, it'd be all rosy again. Listen, I'm not saying we can't win the two, Jack. There's no way that I'm looking at Everton away and Southampton at home and thinking, oh my God, you know, I'm really scared. I'm not doing that, but we do need to get wins on the board. I think everyone can see that. That mini league is becoming, you know, people are starting to hit 22, 23 points now. We've got to be careful that we don't get cut adrift. We've got to be careful of that. B3 saying Everton did look woeful against Liverpool last night. I think we'll do them, to be honest. Yeah. I mean, we'll see. Listen, we'll talk about the Everton game in more detail on Thursday. But it's just in general now of what we're going to do now going forward. Because let's just say he does lose this game against Everton and it's ugly. Let's say we lose there 3-0. What then happens? Is he going to be here for the Southampton game? I don't think so. I think they will try then and go back and get somebody else. I just don't see how, if he does lose, say, 3-0 to Everton, and it's an ugly defeat, and that is ugly, whichever way you dress it up, I just don't see how he stays in charge. And I think that's why there is no time frame on that statement. That's why I think. Karen saying, with the players we have no excuses for not winning games. There just isn't. And I said it on yesterday's stream, kind of tongue in cheek, but I do wonder, man, if these same players were at another club, Fulham, Brighton, somewhere like that, would the pressure be that much less? And they'd be playing, you know, getting better results. I just wonder. Sometimes I just think that the badge is too much. I don't know. And like who is it that said it? Somebody said that there was a curse being put on the ground. I might actually start to believe it. Oh man, I know. It's bad. It's bad, but we're in a real precarious position, and it's a huge game on Saturday. Just huge, absolutely huge. SJ44 saying problem is KG. It's all last time now. Last time for a new gaffer. Yeah, it was last time, and again, kind of mentioned it yesterday. But if Wolves were trying to get Lopetegui now, I don't think they would have got him after the transfer window. But they got him at the right time. Same with Villa with Emery. I think that we just waited too long, and I can understand it. I'm not going to be a hindsight guy and say I don't understand why. I do get it. I do understand why they stuck with it. But Lord, it's the timing isn't good again. And as we're now in the middle of February, what is it now? 9 days ago. 9 days ago we sacked him. So that was still more than enough time. But the time is ticking on. And yeah, obviously the managers are not coming, and you're just seeing it all around the place. We're a bit of a laughing stock right now. You know what I mean? It's annoying to see. It's annoying to read and see, and you kind of want to defend your club, but I got nothing. I can't defend it. You can't defend it. We just have to put our hopes now that Skubala knows what he's doing and can get a tune out of these players to get victories. That's the thing for me. I don't care how we play against Everton on Saturday. I don't care what the game is like, as long as we come out with 3 points. And yeah, T. Davis saying, I feel more confident Western Tyler midfield. Them dudes tackle hard. Listen, this is the main point. This is why I'm not doomed for relegation. I just don't believe that a majority of this team is the third worst in the Prem. I don't, but they have to show it on the pitch. There's no point talking about it on paper or what you think in your head. They've got to show it on the pitch. And that's what I mean. We have got a good nucleus. You talk about Weston Tyler there. Once Mark Rocker's back as well to be the conductor in there, to be the conductor in midfield, it's even better. We're talking about players. Harrison, I was told by so many people, well, after the Accrington Stanley goal, mind you, that Harrison was being shackled by Jesse Marsh. But Harrison's been playing without Jesse Marsh for a couple of games. Doesn't matter if it's Man United. These are Premier League players. And what is he showing so far? He then has to step up. He has to step up. Or everybody has to step up, if you know what I mean. Yeah, I mean that's fair. SJ44, yeah, the backline might be in the three worst. Yeah, 100% SJ. There's no denying that one. In totality, 100% we've got one of the worst defenses. But when you look at our midfield and attack, it should be more than enough to outscore a few teams. And hopefully those are the games coming up now that we've got coming, in that we can show that. Yeah, we might go to Everton, hopefully win 3-2. Southampton. I'm still expecting a win. There will be no. Obviously, we talk about next week, but for me, there is no excuse in the book. Southampton at home next week. That's a win. No, I don't care what happens. I don't care what happens in that game. We should be winning that game. But listen, got to concentrate on Everton first. Texas Leeds is saying Harrison has a great first touch, but when he has time, his decision making is awful. It's very, very poor, Texas Leeds, and we saw that on the Wednesday game more than anything. When we was looking to hold the ball and break out a bit, he lost the ball almost every time, and the passing wasn't the right one, and Man United would just come back onto us again. He's got to clean that kind of stuff up. And no to Big Sam. I can see Sam in here talk about Big Sam. No, thank you. No. Michael Brown saying, KG, for me, it's Nuno. Beggars can't be choosers. Nuno has taken Wolves out of the Championship as league winners, finished 7th twice and taken Wolves to the quarterfinals of the Europa League. Yeah, that's all true. That's all true. But what I'll say to that is, Michael, I don't know if there was ever an interview. I don't know. None of the reporters that are usually pretty good for information, by the way, have talked about Nuno getting an interview. I've just seen it. It just seems to be like papers just putting two and two together, knowing that Leeds fans are desperate for news and saying that Nuno had an interview. I don't know where. I haven't seen it, so I can't really comment on it. But yeah, absolutely. I was getting used to the thought of Nuno. And yes, it might not be pretty, but it'd be what we need. It would be what we need. This open, expansive football that we tried to adapt over the last few years isn't quite working anymore. So let's try something else. Let's try something else. Emmett saying, I take 4 points from the next 2 games. A defeat to Everton would be a major setback. It would be brutal, Emmett. It would be really brutal because with that, then it puts so much pressure on the Southampton games. And we've seen it. We've seen a couple times where the players have stepped up when there's big pressure. I remember a couple times thinking these guys are going to fold because you know what some of our players are like. They do fold under pressure. Big pressure cooker at Ellen Road, and they have stepped up. But imagine the pressure on that Southampton game. It would be insufferable. It will be insufferable. Tony T here is just saying, to be fair, Harrison is not a number 10. He's not, but then Tony, at the same time, and I've got to go back to it, when after he scored against Accrington, people were saying that Harrison can play in the 10. This is the thing with Jack Harrison, man. When he does something one game, people forget the previous 5 to 10 games when nothing's happened, and they reset. I strictly remember, Tony, before the Accrington game, and we was talking about Jack Harrison going, people were more in favour of Jack Harrison leaving for Leicester. They were much more in favour. He scored against Accrington in the next stream. People were saying Jack has to stay. It's funny how it works out, and it's funny how it works. He is more of a winger, Tony, but for me, if he's going to play the wing, then he's not playing in the team. Who's he going to get ahead of? Nanto? No. Sinistera? No. He's not getting ahead of either of those two. So he's got to take what he gets. You know what I mean? He's got to take that role. But for me, he doesn't start in this team, Tony. He's a sub player, but he keeps on getting starts lately. Matt saying it's going to be pure long balls and set pieces Saturday, going to be a proper dogfight. Of course it is. You're talking about 2 teams here that are desperate. Both teams. There's going to be both sets of fans believing that they should beat the other team. And it's going to be the same in the Southampton game too. It's going to be a game where the crowd is going to be, they're either going to be red hot for it, or blue hot, I should say, for Everton, or it's going to be nervy throughout. I can imagine it being more nervy than anything, because both teams are just not going to want to lose this game. But we need to go there and win. Don't care if it's away. They're Everton. They've been down there. They're still in the bottom three, and look how bad we've been. We've been terrible since the turn of August. So it's on us to go there and get the result, no matter what, no matter how, no matter how. Yeah, L. Gill, Harrison needs to stay in the bench. Matt saying extra body in the middle. Yeah, Rocker for me. Hopefully he's fit and he comes back. Mark saying if Cine is back and if Rocker is fit to play in the midfield three with Adams and McKennie, I can see us turning Everton over. They're missing DCL. Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? And even Dominic Calvin-Lewin, you're saying he's missing. He probably will be missing again. He's very injury prone, And then who's their substitute options? Mope? Is Rondon still there? Who knows? But that's what I'm saying. Everton don't concern me like that. That's why I still believe there's a chance of going there to win. But to lose, yeah, it will be crushing. It will be absolutely crushing. Yeah, Mark, Liverpool play through Everton's midfield. We can do that. We can absolutely do that. But then, Mark, it's on our players up front to finish these chances off. It's up to them to finish their chance off. And also, in terms of Rocker coming back, by the way, it's a chance for McKennie to be more of a box-to-box midfielder. Because at the moment, he is kind of doing the protecting job with Tyler Adams. I want him to get on the end of stuff on set pieces, to make late runs into the box, because he is good for a goal or two. You know what I mean? He is good for a goal or two. So there's just things that we can do, and that give me reason to believe we'll be okay. But these guys have got to show it on the pitch, and Skubala has to be strong with his choices as well. He has to be strong. Glenn saying they're going to lay out the Champions League red carpet for a Saturday. Fireworks and smoke coming our way. Can we handle that? It's on the players, Glenn. They've got to handle it. These are alleged Premier League players. They've got to show what they're about. We've got some players that don't care about that kind of stuff, who will mentally just check out from that. They don't care about that kind of stuff. But obviously some others are a bit more timid. And we know that. We've heard it from Jesse Marsh previously. Some of the players don't believe in themselves, which is quite damning. But, you don't need him to tell you that. You can see it in their body language at times. They just need to come out and play. They just need to come out and play. James is saying, finally catch you live while I'm on holiday. Made my day. Cheers, James. Thanks for catching me live on your holiday as well. Thank you. And listen, wherever you are in the world, shout out to you, evening, morning, night. Let's, we're trying to get through this together. Random Yeet here saying, I think somebody said that we're playing better under Skubala than Marsh, and he's saying here, no, they aren't choked to 2-goal lead and lost. And Random Yeet does have a point here. I think Random Yeet's a little bit of a troll. I don't know. I think there's a name similar, but there is a point to that, though, in all honesty, because even in the statement, it said after 2 positive games against Man United. But the thing is, we're clutching here. We need wins. You know what I mean? And a 2-0. I know it's a different Manchester United now, 13 games unbeaten at home. But to go 2-0 up and surrender the lead like that, very, very disappointing. And then, of course, the game on Sunday, where we should have been disappointed to draw the game, never mind lose. You know what I mean? We should have been doing better than coming out with a 2-0 loss. Zach saying, shout out to you, KG. Glad the algorithm let me hear. Yeah, it's the likes. If you keep liking the stuff, more people see it. It's the way of YouTube. That's the one algorithm of YouTube that you can work out. Everything else changes monthly. So yeah, please keep hitting a like on the video. Trust me, it's the best way to help out your favorite creators. Yeah, it feels like it, doesn't it? AFV KG Therapy Session. But it's been like that all season long. What have we? We celebrated 4 wins in the league. It's been a season of, you know what? We didn't play too badly in this game. We're just so unlucky. And if we had done this, but like I said in the last video, I had to strip the context out of there. I had to take the context of not playing badly, because you had to look at the cold facts of where we are, especially with the 2 games we've got coming up without a manager at that point yesterday. And it hasn't been good enough this season. It's been dire. It's been dire, hasn't it, altogether? Our highlights are individual moments, not team wins. All the things I say, Nanto, oh, brilliant. Yes. Tyler Adams, solid in midfield. It's all individual accolades and no team wins. And for me, it's not gonna do us any good over a Premier League season. Uh, I mean, what is everyone saying? Yeah, I mean, yeah, Karen, we are never on a never-ending roller coaster ride. Like I said, I was hoping to have the day off today. I wasn't even planning to set all this stuff up and come on live today, but obviously they announced that Skubala's staying, so obviously I've got to come on and give my thoughts. Especially in my head today, I've been thinking, hey, Nuno wouldn't be bad, Nuno, I can see it, I can see it, and yeah, there's no Nuno. Leeds saying the players need self motivation to grind out wins now. Yeah, what is their motivation? We'll see, won't we? We'll see. I listen. People can have their thoughts. I still got my thoughts about what happened towards the end of last season, where one player in particular was saving himself for a possible relegation for Leeds United and keeping himself healthy. We need to see these players now play for us. The players do play for themselves now. I'm sorry to say this, and I know this bursts a lot of people's bubbles, but I speak to a few players, and they do. They look out for themselves more than anyone, and it's right. The careers are short, and they're looking to make as much money as possible in the short careers. But we need these guys as a collective to look at it and say, you know what, we could all do this. Get this Leeds United safe. Maybe we'll even stay next season and push on. That's what we need them to do. We need them all to keep believing. But we'll see. We'll see, won't we? These two games are the litmus test. Huge. We've done this all season long as well when we had that beautiful run of games near the start of the season where we never picked up enough points. Go back to the video, as I said, it's very disappointing that we haven't picked up more wins in this period. But now these two games, especially with other teams around us, and I think Everton have got us and Southampton in their next two games. Well, I don't know if I'm wrong with that, but I think that they've also got the same kind of combination that we have. It's imperative we get the um the points on the board. Let's have a look. Not hate. Bobby's saying not hating the Gerrard appointment at this juncture. Man, the aura, man. I don't know, man. I don't know. You know what? I saw a report again. We don't know how true this is. It could just be paper talk. But someone saying that Steven Gerrard's not sure about the Leeds job. It's like, oh, hold on a minute, mate. No, we'd be doing you a favor because, in all honesty, Steven Gerrard probably needs to either go back to Scotland or start somewhere else in another country because that job he did at Villa wasn't good. And listen, I can't say I won't say anything, but just his ideas weren't coming across at Aston Villa. And we've already had that kind of problem here with Jesse Marsh. We kind of don't need that again. Yeah, Mr. Sripper. Makes you wonder, how did we get here? Like a bad dream. It does. Honestly, I actually can't believe where we are in over this part of the season. At this point of the season, a manager sacked. I go back to what I said at the start of the season. I'm willing for a season of pain. Few losses here, a win here, draw there, a loss here, a win there. But it's been miserable. It hasn't been a season of pain. It's been miserable, hasn't it? And I just don't know how we're here. And is it Leeds? Is it a Leeds thing? I don't know. I don't know. A lot. Yeah, John Michael Beal was the brains behind the scenes at Villa. It fell apart after he left. Yeah, listen, yeah, I've heard that a few times. I'll just say that. Texas Leeds is saying Auto too proud of stomach to admit a mistake and pull the plug. Well, this is it. I mean, you're hearing and reading all kinds of stuff now, aren't you, with the board and being disjointed? But that's what happens at a lot of board level things. You'll always get a majority vote, but there will be two people, three people that disagree and agree, and then they'll come to some sort of agreement. But because this has been drawn out and played out for so long, it looks like it's an absolute horror show behind the scenes, and you can't really like fight against that narrative right now with what's happening, and especially with the news of Skubala today. You can't really like go against it, but that happens in many boardrooms. There'll be boardrooms that wanted to sign certain players, and other people in the board didn't want them. Those players will come along. You know what I mean? It happens in all like big corporations. And that's as well with the 49ers, by the way. We need to mention those guys because whether let's just say worst case scenario, and this is obviously the worst case scenario, we went down. I do think that will the 49er enterprises still be here? Because if you remember, the Jorginho Ruta deal was heavily based on those guys taking care of future payments, if anyone remembers that. So are they still going to be here, but maybe just invest less once they get here in the summer if we were to be in the championship, worst case scenario? Because I don't see how they get involved in that deal, help the structure of the payments for that deal, and then just say, you know what, we're not doing it. I don't see how that will possibly work because you would think that some things have got to be signed there between Radrizzani and the 49ers. Who knows? Charlie Charles saying, shocking from the board, KG. We might just need someone with a little more experience to help Scoobs. Who will that be? I have no idea. Nobody knows, Charles. Nobody knows. That's the thing. That's the thing, Charles. No, Charlie. Sorry, Charlie. Nobody knows. You know, everyone's guessing names here and there, but nobody actually knows who we've been going for. And you know, I've always said as well, it's not about Premier League proven or nothing like that. But when somebody's been a PE teacher and then a futsal manager, and you're managing in the Prem, I mean, just talk about a huge jump. It'd be a huge jump for him to go and manage in League Two. You know, put that into context. Put that into context. You know, it would be a huge jump to go from League Two. You know, I feel like with my football manager CV, I should apply for the job. You know what I mean? Actually, I shouldn't because you know what? This train might just keep rolling. You know what I mean? Oh man, guys, if you don't laugh. Frank J is saying, I'm so sick of these relegation battles year after year, dreaming of a careless mid-table season. That's what I wanted this year, Frank. I was ready for it. I was ready for a boring, just plain old simple mid-table season, and we just can't get it at this club. It just loves drama. Drama just follows this club everywhere it goes. Whether it's in League One, where we can't even lift the Johnson's Paint Trophy. I was very disappointed with that, by the way. I really wanted to lift that. Or whether it's the Championship, where we're just a middling Championship club that everybody loves to beat, and they're like Championship players play their best game against Leeds United, or in the Premier League where we've had this up and down stuff. We just always attract drama. It's just the way it is. Glenn saying, be honest, KG, you know, some of the players have looked out the cabin window and asked their agents to make sure there's a place on lifeboats for them just in case the ship is beginning to sink. Of course. You know, and Glenn, a lot of people, especially our fan base, don't like to hear that kind of stuff because they think that once you play for Leeds, there's no other club that they want to go to. Unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. And yeah, I think it's possibly a little too early now. But like what I was talking about earlier with a player that I think was holding out in case he got re-injured towards the end of last season, I think that if it gets later and we're looking doomed, that of course that's going to happen. Of course that's going to happen. But we need that to not happen. We need to get 6 points on the board next two league games and then try and put this in the rearview mirror at some point. Mark saying we've forgotten that we're still in the FA Cup. No, I haven't forgotten, Mark. I definitely haven't forgotten that. That's why I keep saying the two next league games, because if I say the next two games, that includes the FA Cup game. But in regards to that, who knows what kind of side we're going to put out for that one. But obviously the league games are the most important. But that's what beating Everton will do as well, by the way. We can then go play Southampton, and then put out a decent team for the cup. I still want to advance in the cup. I still think you can do both as long as you finish in, to the upper mid-table like Crystal Palace did last season. But yeah, we gotta focus on these league results. Glenn saying Reuter's payments will be irrelevant because he'll have a sell-on clause. I think you mean relegation clause. I think that's what you mean, Glenn. But at the same time, Glenn, that then depends on somebody buying him. So yeah, listen, and we probably wouldn't be getting anywhere near what we've paid for him. That never happens when you put in a relegation release clause. You just don't get the money that you've paid out back. So we would be making a loss on him if he was to move on in the summer if we get relegated. Nick saying we need to put Rads, Orta, and Kinnear in the rearview mirror as soon as possible. It's happening this summer, isn't it, Nick? I think regardless of what happens, I think that they're going. But Yeah, it's probably a summer too far. And I think we all kind of knew that. Radrizzani, listen, I'm not gonna just disrespect what he's done. He has plowed a lot of money into the club. But when you know that you can't do much else, then you should try and like speed up a sale. And I think that's what that leaked. Remember that leaked Saudi investors interested in Leeds report was about? I think that's possibly what that was all about as well, in order to try and get a speedier sale. Droopy, tremendous name. Oh, it's Droopy the dog. Oh, Droopy, son, hey, son. He sounded like that, didn't he? Skubala will give the players the chance to express themselves more. Maybe our quality will see us through. Marsh overcomplicated everything. I'm relying on the quality, Droopy. I'm relying on the players to show me the quality. That's why I'm not completely downtrodden in regards to the rest of the season. There's just too many games left as well, by the way. Too many twists and turns for me to say that we're going to get relegated now just because we've got Skubala here, who's not, a qualified head coach. It's just too early, especially with the talent we've got. If we didn't have the January we had and didn't get a McKennie, didn't get Verber in, didn't get additional, forward in Jorginho, then maybe I'd be singing a different story. But I just think in totality with our squad, we should be okay. We should be better than what we are now, I should say. Uh, yeah. Oh, Mr. P and Ian J, thank you for the super thanks on the last video. Much appreciated. Yeah, CJ lad. I mean, it's crazy, isn't it? Leeds Southampton a must-see game, but CJ's not lying. Not gonna lie, Marsh versus Leeds in 2 weeks is must-see TV. It's like if I was a neutral, I'd be looking forward to watching this game. Like the storyline in this game is absolutely insane. You couldn't write it any better, could you? Sack from the team you know, that are fighting with you in relegation, going to a team and going back away. It's not even like we're going to Southampton's ground. They're coming to Ellen Road. You know what I mean? It's a great story, isn't it? But we got to make sure that there's no spoilers there. We got to make sure that Jesse isn't walking away with, a motivational quote and saying how is Southampton going to stay up while we're in the mud. We got to handle our business against Southampton. Have to. Honestly, Matt, you just couldn't, could you? It's like the Premier League of written this out of a Hollywood director who's just got us and said, you know what, Jesse, Southampton at Leeds, it's great TV. And I say this as a Leeds fan, it's great TV. So, the neutrals are going to love it, but we got to make sure we handle our business. Charlie saying Liam Cooper now has to step up and help Skubala. Charlie, it's when you're talking, I guess the leadership group. I guess I hate that thing though. The senior players, Liam Cooper. I think Stuart Dallas is still doing this thing as well. Luke Ayling. I don't know what kind of message that these guys are giving, but then for me, I'm also looking at Tyler. I'm looking at Tyler as a leader. I'm looking at Eli Melier as a leader. I know he's a young keeper, but he's our chief number one. And I believe that he's got a bit of a voice there too. I'm looking for Weston McKennie to step up and use his wealth of experience that he's used around the Champions League and everything else like that, playing for Juventus. I'm looking for these guys to also step up and say, we're better than this. Let's get some wins on the board. Cut this ish out. Let's get some wins on the board, man. Ishtar saying, what excuses will the haters give us if Jesse beats us? Oh, I don't think I get that one, Ishtar. What excuses will the haters give us if Jesse beats us? Oh, I don't know. I don't get the question. Maybe people in the chat will get it. Glenn saying, do you think Marsh will get a respectful round of applause at ER or 90 minutes brutal Leeds dogs abuse? It's got to be abuse, isn't it? I think it's going to be abuse. I think that, yeah, I just don't think a lot of Leeds fans were having him regardless anyway. So I think he was also on a hiding to nothing. But I don't see why he would get a round of applause unless it's to acknowledge that he did keep us up last season. I know people. I've seen people in the chat saying it was Rafinha, this and all that, and Rafinha was a huge part of it, by the way. But at the end of the day, he was the manager that kept us up. Maybe he gets that, but I don't see why we want to make it nice for him. I don't think Jesse will be expecting that either. I don't think he'll be expecting it to be nice for him. He's literally just left this place, so he'll be the best person to tell these players what's to be expected. Simon saying your level of articulating the dilemmas of Leeds United are legendary, KG. Most impressed. Keep it up, even if we do end up in the dreaded championship again. You guys going to tune in for a Luton Town versus Leeds United watch along? Yeah, is that what you're saying? Yeah, listen, I don't know about that, you know. No, but listen, there's still what I would say now. There's still so much time to go. We just have to get out of this little period that we're in. We just have to get out of this period that we're in. I'm gonna finish off in a bit. I actually can't believe I've been going for 45 minutes. Yeah, chat's been very good today, very lively, and very lively, and just getting your opinions on stuff of where we're at now. We'll obviously talk through the Everton game together as well on Thursday. I'm not sure how much we'll get out the press conference, but I always do it around after then, or probably later in the evening, and we'll give our predictions there for the Everton game. MH is saying thank you for the refreshing content. It's mental around the content creation crowd right now. Well, I mean, I don't know much around what's going on, but I can imagine. But it's kind of understandable. It is kind of understandable, considering the position we're in. Just have to try and find ways of seeing the light through this white smoke that's just appeared. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's why I love football. Yeah, I love it and I hate it, man. I love it and I hate it. Shane here saying, respectfully, round of applause. Has he even commented on his time at the club, or did I miss something? It's been nothing, Shane, from players or Jesse Marsh. I think the only person that said anything was, his name's escaping me now, people. What was the assistant manager's name? Let me know. Oh, God. Rene, I've forgotten his last name. Forgotten. Somebody will be able to tell me. I know somebody will be able to tell me. But yeah, he's the only one so far that I've seen put out a goodbye message. Nobody else. Really, really odd, isn't it? Rene Marriage. There we go. That's it. That's it. Yeah. Rene Marriage. That's the one. Oh, guys. Hmm. Well, listen, I don't think there's going to be anything tomorrow. We've got the manager's name in the door right now. Skubala, he'll be here for the Everton. So I'm assuming that my next video will be Thursday, when we can go through the Everton game, see what they're up to, see what shape we're in with players. Hopefully that, Michael will let us know we're going to be back. And yeah, that's it. That's it. That's all I've got for today. It's been a good show. I wish that things can get better as soon as possible. But listen, 3 points against Everton, it will change our whole mood. I'm sure it will. But listen, I'm going to leave it there. Like the video before you go, drop your comments below, always as well. Thank you for any super thanks donations as well. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video, people. Peace out. Don't cough on that white smoke.